we'll go for we'll go for a break shortly. All right. Yes, it's an aspect we have looked at, um, and then of course, due to demands, we still look at it again. Yeah, and now it's about it's about orchestrator. Now, how to use it to deploy uh, what we have done or what we are doing in studio. First, it's of course going by what we have in our manual is to know how to connect to orchestrator, which I think maybe it's not needed. How do I mean? That process um, has been not overemphasized, but that aspect has been dealt with. How to connect your robot to what's it called, to orchestrator. Okay, and why is it important to do that? Because if you don't have it connected, uh, yeah, whatever you do in studio and published will not get to orchestrator. It will not get there. Okay, so now there is a concept that is very uh, that's very popular in orchestrator. We talk about dispatcher. We talk about performer. What exactly is this? Because it has to do with how we use our queue. Everything borders on queue, and of course we already talked about queue. What queue is. All right. Queue, as we know, queue to be a container. Now, I think Julius already helped us so much using real life scenario. I think the last time I think he used the scenario of a bank, the queue, normal queue uh, you come into, and then that's when you get to bank environment, the banking hall. You have to wait within the queue rails, and until you are done, you cannot come out. Okay, that example has been used, and I see many other instructors, even online, using something similar, something close. Yes, again, it's the need, and I see a need to also emphasize that we can check all these. You can check other platforms, YouTube, check them for tutorials. Um, the Sometimes what you see in in UiPath material may be limited. Yeah, it may be limited. They will just show you what maybe what they want to do and all of that. But if you use other materials, they're going to use some terms, terminologies, things, use different examples to drive home the point and make a concept, a particular concept to look so real. So that's the need for you to visit a spectrum of resources to see what works and what does not work. All right. Okay. So, and of course, it's instructionally valid for you also to let me say, to expose yourself to different persons or instructor or instructional um, outputs, so that different languages, that's language of instruction, can be used. And of course, it's not a bad idea at all. All right. So back to the issue of queue. Now we have seen how queues have been used, um, you know, in banks, how it's being used in banks, with checking. into the queue rails, and then you wait there. If you are in Nigeria, of course, you wait within the queue rails for some time before you get to when you will be called, and then you can say that, oh, I've been processed. My transaction, what I came to banking hall to do has been handled. Okay, um, so we have the dispatcher performer model being explained using that scenario. Okay, and I remember we have also looked at an exam item where we were looking at a process that helps to read data from Excel sheets into orchestrator. We call it orchestrator also. It's called what? Okay. Maybe I think another one says that helps to populate, something like that. Okay, so whichever way it is, the idea is um, for your queue, which is a container that contains different items. All right, for that queue itself um, to be well used. All right, you need to first um, needs to first read the data in using dispatcher, and then for you to process what has been read in, so you need a performer. All right, an extensive demonstration and talk will be done tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow, yes, tomorrow. Yeah, it will be done tomorrow. But we can just go through some things, and then you can maybe what we go through today can generate even questions that we can also look at later in the day or in subsequent classes. All right, so this is 2005. So I would recommend we go on break for 10 minutes. So by 2015 West African time, that's 15 minutes past 8, we can check in and we can resume. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, hold on. I had Babalola. Is Babalola here? Or is that Jawabidem I had?
No, miss, I'm not the one, sir. Not Ajawabi Demi. I didn't say anything.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Sorry, Joe, we are on break.
Let's go on break. We're on break now, just for 10 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we are welcome back to class. Hello.
Yes, sir. Well, yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Welcome back to class. Babalola, you are here. I thought you left us. And hello, Babalola, can you hear me? Okay. All right. So yeah, I wanted to ask Sean to share his screen because what's that? I don't think there's a provision for that now. Okay. Right. So yeah, as I said, we'll just look at glancing through orchestrator, key, uh, how to read, um, data, into orchestrator. Okay. So let's like I say, let's get started. Let me go through edge. So I want to open orchestrator. Here it's a orchestrator not connected. All right, so I hope it will be connected soon. Okay, so this is my orchestrator. Okay, let me check the studio again. Not okay. Then UiPath. UiPath assistance. Okay, so here truly I'm not connected. Let me see if I can going through this path. Okay, I can see it's connected with this green indicator. All right, so I think I'm good to go now. Okay, Ovidio Ebenezer has grounded down. Yeah, connected. So the first thing we'll do is to create a queue in orchestrator. So yeah, it's going to be going back and forth between orchestrator and studio. Back to this. Okay, so yeah, where do I have my queue? I have it in my workspace. I have it here, so no issue. I want to open up this, yeah, this folder. Let me create a queue. create a new queue. Right, so I have what's the name of the queue? Queue today's date 26. Let's say Q26. I know I've used other numbers. Q26 description demonstration demonstration and box just say show model. Okay, so then here we have additional options and false unique references. As if we want items to have unique references, so I can check it and store in encrypted format. I don't need that. Auto try number of times if we want it to. That's if we want, for instance, if our queue is if it's not read, or when the data is not when it's not being fetched from the dispatcher, maybe from the performer, for instance. So we want to see, okay, should it happen more than once? Of course, anything can happen. System can crash, applications can crash, and so we can increase the number of tries to more than one. So if it comes up the first time, it fails. Comes up the second time, it doesn't see it. Comes out, okay, and so it still has a robust opportunity to try until the nth number of time we put here. That is for now, which is 5. So we can work on the CLAs we want for our queue. That's how do we want it to work? If we enable the CLA, our CLA, like, okay, if it's queue has been unprocessed if the items have been unprocessed for some time, so we can establish what's the minimum duration we expect maybe an item to stay in the queue before it is when it will be unprocessed, and before we can say, okay, the system should escalate or should escalate that issue to say, oh no, this item is staying in this for too long a period of time. So we can set our CLAs to handle all this. It can be in days, it can be in hours. All right, but I am not going in that direction. Okay, let's just leave it as this. Should I even check this unique references? Okay, let me leave it. Let's see the way it works, and then we can add. Okay, yeah, Q 266 created successfully. All right, and where is it? Here we have it. My screen is a very small. It's a very small screen, so everything is not stretched out the way it ought to. So I will try to toggle a short description. That's the description. Then progress 0 for 26. Q 26. Then progress. So we see that nothing is going on here. Nothing. We have only created a queue. Okay, this is a symbol. This symbol is symbol of trigger. That is, well, it could be maybe time trigger or queue trigger. Okay, testimony mentioned that the other time. What time trigger is, what queue trigger is. We use time to trigger an event. So then that we could say, okay, that's a time trigger. And if it's a queue, that is when any item comes into a queue, and then we want that to initiate the starting of process. Then we could call that a queue trigger. Okay, well, essentially this sign, it's this symbol it symbolizes trigger. Let me still stretch all this in and out. This is remaining. This is average time, and the rest. This is status, if it's successful or not. So this is what do we have here? Okay, exceptions. Process. This one is already buried. Business exception, technical exception. The process, the various properties. Okay, queue. Let's view if there's anything there. View transaction. How can there be transaction when nothing has been no item to be processed? So no data to display yet. So back to queue. All right, so we don't have anything as it were here. All right, so and that's exactly what we have at the monitoring pane. Okay, so we can so we see that we have new queues for view, but there are no items in them. All right, so let's go to Studio. Queue demo. Okay, so we have Studio opened, and here in the activities we have various activities. Yeah, you have it. I think you have it in your manual in the PDF. Unfortunately, I did not even show PDF today. We have the add queue item, which is the first I will be using. Okay, we want to use add queue. I want to add queue item to what we have in orchestrator. We have add transaction item. We have bulk add queue items. We have delete queue items, get queue items, get transaction items. All these until wait queue item. Yeah. Okay, so let's see that we go through this path to add our queue items. Of course, you are familiar with this. I'm in through this path. Or we go to resources. We go to queue. That one has not showed up. It's connected. Let me see, refresh. Okay, so we see Q26 come up now. All right, so we can bring it here. All right, so attempts to bring it here is going to bring different options of key activities that we want to bring. Okay, so what we really need is the hard queue item. Okay, so now we've got this, and of course it opens up in a sequence. Here we look at we should look at all these options, the input, the miscellaneous. All right, so the input basically telling us what it takes in. Okay, maybe on this we can maybe a little talk. Now, what exactly is the issue here? We want to, let's assume we want to process, we want to do some arithmetic, we want to process tax, we want to process profits, we want to process something. All right, for us to get results, we need data to be processed. We need to know of course, knowing our formula, we need to know the profit, the sales price, maybe the quantity. We need to know all those things, elements around getting our results. Now, but before we can get that data that we are going to process, something must first push it to where it will be processed. So that's the work of the add queue item. So the add queue item, it's going to help. It's meant to help, okay, to read data into the queue that we have in orchestrator. So here at the property, okay, yeah, property item information. So there we have a small window pop up, an argument, so we can populate it, put what we want to do here. Okay, this is the item, say sales price. So this is value of price. Okay, take it in. Then the value, any value, no, let's just leave it. Sales price, sales quantity in int 32. Okay. What else? We can have just whatever we want to put there. Sales price. If you want to know production costs too, you can decide to put it there if you so desire to know or to work with that. Let's just put it production costs. This should be 32, and product itself to have a string. Okay, we'll put string. All right. Okay. All right. So we have added all this. Okay. While we do this, don't forget what we saw there in the orchestrator. If you run this, and with the fact that it's connected to orchestrator, it's going to push through the help of the robot. It's going to interface. The robot is going to interface between Studio and the orchestrator. So we have what we have pushed in here. We're going to have it in the orchestrator. So let's save and run it. Yeah, run this. Okay, I want to believe it's done. It's the needful has been done. Okay, now you look at this page. This is the page. This job status, job history. Let's just look at it to see if there's anything there. All right, so you can see it now. This is before adding queue items. So let's refresh to see if there's any difference. All right, so now while we okay. So let's check queues. All right, it still seems nothing has come up. Let's refresh this. Okay, but error creating transaction reference is required for unique reference fields code. Okay, yeah, there's a place reference here. Okay, are these properties panel for hard queue items? So I could put reference for that. Okay, for this, let me see. I will just put let me put a reference. Let me call it so that you will be able to tag it as a special thing. Let me call it maybe I say one. Let me call it 26 or 26. Let me simply leave it as I want it quoted. Okay, so let me run it again. Okay, back to okay, nothing is here. Let's refresh. See. Maybe view transaction to see. Okay. Okay, so we have the reference set. All right. Access price, sales, production cost. Right, so we have just all that we push by the add queue item is set here. So let me go back to studio. The item collection. If I decide to push instead of 0, it's reading there. Decide to push some values into the item information. Then I can say sales price for a particular, let's say for we are considering an item. Sales price, it's
Hello, sir.
yes, hello.
So, okay, why are you using an argument instead of? I think is it not supposed to be variable, or it doesn't matter?
Yeah, this now this is the input. Let me take it down. Now this is the activity that will help you to add items to your queue that you have created in the studio. You remember we created a queue in the studio, but that queue is empty. It doesn't have anything in it. It doesn't have item. Queue itself, it's a container. All right, and it's a container of items, and it can contain unlimited number of items. And the items themselves, they can store multiple types of data. Okay, so now what we did, the empty queue that we created in Orchestrator, we are populating it with items. And now the way to do that is by making an input through the item information. So this is Orchestrator. This is let me say this is Orchestrator business. Do you understand? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is a
So we have
bigger
to
thing.
use argument.
Yes, that's the way to populate it. The item information windows, you have to push it in using the argument window.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, so now, okay, let me open it again. All right, so I want to set value for this. Let me say the sales price for this item is
Hello, sir.
hello.
Yes, sir. I want to ask a question concerning this argument that we are passing. In the way we maybe name our argument, we usually put in sales price or those things. Does it matters here, or we can name it any?
Yeah, okay. We the in, out, all those things. It is actually to help us to see, to give us direction, like to help us to know what this is doing, what a particular argument, how it's going to function or work. If, well, for instance, the direction is what we really spell if it is in or out. All right, this is simply a nomenclature descriptive issue. So we can put prefix it with him if we so much, if we like. We can decide not to put it. It's just to describe what you are putting in. It doesn't do anything with the process. It doesn't affect it. Okay, it's like naming. It's like saying, permit me to use this word. We have Adedigba. All right, and if we decide to say maybe Ade, sorry, if we decide to remove the Ade, let's assume the Ade is the prefix, and we decide to put Oludigba. You know how the way people change from Fa to Sin to Olu to Sin. I'm just using that. It's not as if the person will change, in quotes. You understand what I mean? No, the person will not change in structure physically, though there are certain things they are trying to address, but the person still remains. So what I'm trying to say is that the name itself, or the naming style itself, doesn't affect anything. What really matters is the type, the direction, the value. Yeah. What do you have? Do you have an input? Do you have a view perspective to that?
So it's just for
No, they usually ask some question about this that according to best practice. So I just
Okay.
want to know whether it's something that is applicable
Oh,
to this, or it's only during studio that we use it. When we are doing arguments, the only or we do it in Q also.
okay. Yeah. Now, if it is if it's with respect to best practice, and we come to argument, then let's simply stick to the in out thing. Do you get? All right. So it's with that clause. Without clause, it's just be good to prefix it with in out, and so we know that we are in a safe environment. In video editing, that's what we call save space, like a place where anything you put there, if you put anything within a particular place, it doesn't get cut off, no matter the style you are using to transmit it. Okay. All right. So we will be playing save, doing that. So if let's simply stick to the him. I don't know if that will settle the border. Okay, maybe I should just move ahead and see how it grows. Okay, so now we have our value, sales price. Just trying to figure out for an item, let's say 12K. And what is the meaning of sales prices? Okay, sales. Then this one, let me change it to quantity. Quantity. And then let me put the quantity as 2. I don't know if I'm making sense here. It must be a very costly item. If 12K will produce 2 quantities of its kind, then the production cost. Production cost, let's say it is simply 2K, of course, plus transportation and other things. So okay, save and run. So come to studio and refresh your queue. All right, so we have what has happened again? We have duplicate reference error code 1016. Okay, this is, let me go to, I want to see the reference is talking about. Okay, so now we see that let me come to monitoring. Let's see if anything is going on there.
I think you need to go to view transactions, sir.
Yes, I will go there. I want to see what I want to look at the monitoring page to see what's going on. So now to our queues. So we come here to this vertical ellipse to view transactions to see where is it now? All right, so here we see the reference, the priority, and all this. Okay, let's view details. Okay, the exception prevented it. I will rerun it to see it come in here. Okay, I go back to studio. Yeah, let me just charge this reference in queue. My edits. And first, I want to uncheck this. Okay, sorry, let me see this. The option is reversible. Okay, all right. Okay, so the option is irreversible once enabled. All right. Okay, so it remains the unique reference setup. It remains once once we have created it. Okay, so auto try updates. Okay. Studio.
I think we need to delete this reference or create a new one.
Okay, I had it, Joe. Error code 1016 is about reference, duplicate reference. So it's not executing. So the next one I do now, I will not include reference so that it doesn't give me trouble. But then it's good to do that. Q62. ISO Q62 with nothing. Then to studio. Get this out. So sticking to Sylvester suggestions. Yup, sales. Call it price. In string 32. Call it 12K. In sales quantity. Call it I think I put 2 or 6, can recall. Then production cost. Production cost in okay, and then here call it product itself or brand, or so it a string. Okay, you can just leave it this way, and if you like, okay, this call it production cost 2,000. You want to make a lot of profits. Here, call it juice. Oh, let me see. It's int string. Is string. Going to take no. Let me just leave this. I think I'll figure it out. I suppose. All right, I think I get what is going on.
I think the query name is not.
Yeah. You say what?
Yeah, that is very right.
What do you say?
I said the query name. We've not.
Yes.
It's under input.
Okay, yeah, so I see it. Okay, save. All right. If I had brought it in through resources, it would have added the queue name automatically. Okay, let me check what we have here. Sometimes it may take a little time. For include. So yeah, fast track. Later I'll still see. Let me view details. Okay, so we have the items that we have pushed in the add queue item. We have it here now. The price, quantity, production cost, and the brand, which actually we did not assign any value to. Okay, it's here. All right, let me go back to this place. Of course, there are other things we can do. Let me go to queues. And you see this is not showing that this place has been updated, so but with time it's going to show that some things have been updated. Now,
press cycle button.
I think I did that. I don't know. But it's no issue. It will still come. Equally, we can still, let's check. Let's try another thing. Let's just call it 2. Change it to new name process 2. Okay, here we have you can, instead of knowing the other part, we have the add queue item. Here we want to get the transaction item now. We want to pull it from what we have in the main. So if we regard this main, give it a name, we call it dispatcher, then we need a process that will help us to pull the item into that will help to process what has been read into the queue. Okay, so let's come to process 2. Why we tag this as process 1? Okay, so we can, let's say, get, where is it? Get transaction item. All right, that is what we have here. The transaction item we have here. Sorry, what did I do? I mean this view details. Okay, I want to get them. So now we have the input, the queue name. We have the transaction item, and what else? We are not using any reference, so we may just bother ourselves on the outputs. That's the transaction item. Yes, the queue name is not it's not an issue. Right, so this one will help us to get what we have. Now, it is also possible for us. Of course, the way it should work is that we should be working with a lot of data, a lot of items that has been perhaps stored in a database, in an Excel sheet. Okay, so what this will help to do is it's going to, what we'll do now, I want us to remove this and use as if you have any Excel. Do we have any Excel? Because we can create, that should not be an issue. So what we want to push into the Excel sheet is we want to have a lot of things, different brands, different things. We want to push it into it, and so we can now use you can read it using read range, and then we use bulk add queue items, to get what we have. Okay, so we can, if we can try let's this now. Can restrict ourselves to just 5 items. Let's say let me call this sales price. I think sales price, sales quantity, and I think the other is short production. Of course, we also need to know the name of the product. Okay, all right. Price 12K. First one. Second one, what was 40K? The third, it was 70K. The one was so low, 10K. 10. All right. And the quantity, this one too. This one 4. This one 1. This one 5. Production cost for this was so cheap. It's 2K. This was at 1,000 naira. This one was at 3,000 naira. It was huge. And this one 10,000. It was well, very minimal. Let's say 1,000 naira to the brand. Let's simply call this cookies. I don't know what I'm typing. I'm just typing something. Juice. Just this one we call it pasta. We call this let's call it something. Nothing is coming to my head now. Let's call it drink. Okay, let's call this drink. It's part of. Okay, so instead of just single item like we did add them queue item that we had the other time, so we want to get all this as a box, so we can have the entire sheet full of this or similar data. Save this as it's demo. Save it in documents. No, in the documents. and just push it. Okay, so UiPath. Then the name of today's lesson is L8. No. Q. Sorry. I'll push it in here. Saved. Okay, so now the range. Okay, to read the entire range, yeah, where's read range Excel? Try workbook. So read sheet 1 of this. And pass it out as what do I call this now? Control V. Order. Alright. Batch. Okay, so I was putting it into a data table called batch 1. So I can add bulk, yeah, queue, bulk, add queue items, and take in from the input now. Take it in as batch. Take this batch in, and the results I can call it batch what now? Call it batch 2. All right, and the queue name. So have I created queue? No. We call this create the queue. Call it queue queue 70. All right, so can take it in. Yeah, queue name. 70. I say this. Okay, what am I expecting? I'm expecting these bulk hard queue items to do similar job, but going to do a bulk, a work on the bulky mode. Also throwing again. Okay, the process cannot access the file, blah blah blah, because it is being used by another process. All right, so push this, put it with this. I hope everything is fine this time around. So check that will name it 70. So let's refresh to see our transaction, to view our transaction. Okay, so we see that okay, so it's 4, not even 5. So we see that all the items have been duly included, added. So we can view this. All right, so we see sales price for this item called drink at 10,000 and the sales quantity at 5, which is 5, and cost reduction. Okay, so we everything should have been in place, I suppose. Cookies. All right, so everything seems to be in place. So what else can we do? Let's try to use other activities that we have under queue. Maybe to set now let's look at this. If you see, you notice that the status here, you have file new, reference, no reference, revision none, priority, normal, that's default option. We have no deadline, post, all these things. Everything seems as if nothing is there. Okay, that is now dependent on settings of the developer or by the developer. So, like for instance, let's see. Let's use them get queue items. Okay, to know to provision for the states of items, and then also we can also use the set transaction status to know if it's to know the status of a particular item. Yeah, let me go back to studio. Okay, so we have read, range, bulk, add. Okay, so if let me add get queue items to this to see what it's going to give me. Can yank off or what I have the queue name. Things to tweak here, queue name, yeah, very key, priority. We can provision the state, the queue item state if we want to say new, like what you have there in the orchestra. We have it as I think we have it new, so we can we need to, sorry, give me some time. Distribution company, they are doing the needful. They are doing what they know how to do best. Yeah. All right, okay, so yeah, we can now you can simply put this as successful or in progress, just as so dim fits or dim it fits. And set this yeah, Control K, set this variable. All right, simply say I'll call it we are working with get queue items, so let me say get queue. Give me this get name. Okay, get queue items. Okay, all right, still one more we need to do. That's the input. We've not made an input. Okay, so I want to push this in, see how it works. This is results. Priority. Okay, let me also tamper with the priority. The default setting option was on normal, so I'm going on normal, so I'm going to set it to high this time around, just to see if there is going to be any change. High, so we have tampered with the priority and with the state of the queue item. save and run. So let's see what happens to status. Let's see what happens to priority. I hope everything works fine this time around. I think so. So let me go to orchestrator and refresh. Okay, so we see what can we see anything different? What has happened? We'll see that before it was 4. Okay, and then now we have it populated to talking about I'll still need to let me still see. I'll wait for a little time to see how this priority for the as for the settings we had is going to change. Let me view the details first. Alright, this is like what we checked the other time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start from there. So we have so like the same thing we have there. Just like the two. Let me look for a little more trouble. Okay, let's say for this. Okay, so for each of these items here, and what did we pass out? We passed it out as get queue item. So for each item in this data table, get queue item. Okay, so what do we want it to do? We want to know the transaction status. I'm putting it from here this time around. Let me count my all these states. Right, to Q. Let me just simply put Q. Alright, so set transaction status. For each item in this, let us set the transaction status. This is progress. I'll simply say for this, yeah, we have what are we taking in? We have the analytics, the outputs, the status. Yeah, of course, the status you can put successful, failed, whichever way. Then we can what are we taking in? Yeah, transaction item. We can call it. Let me take this. Yeah, set status. Set transaction status for the get queue items. Oh, should be taken in here. Outputs. Set transaction status for this successful. We are using gets. Let me see the substance what works here. No. No. This transaction item I'm supposed to work on. Sorry. Let me come to this side. This get queue items was for times and queue. Is this? Okay, let me try it. Now I'm supposed to have queue items here. Is someone there? Everywhere is so quiet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
sir.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one in this bedroom.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, you are not alone. We are in the spirit.
Okay. It looks like everybody has left me. They have that when it's out of it. When you are done,
We are here.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yes, it's the set transaction status. Yeah, want to get the input for this should be from here for each item in get queue. Okay, let me type arguments. Use okay. Let me use this for the type argument in for each. Okay. Yeah, yes. Wanted to say something. Key items.
Yes, I think the for each item in get queue item is supposed to be I don't think it's supposed to be get queue item. Help me to scroll up. So it's supposed to be from this bulk add queue item. What we are getting, what you are getting supposed to be
from
from,
this from the bulk.
yes,
Okay, for each
supposed to be,
item
so
in the okay
it's
to
supposed to be batch one.
yeah, this is okay. Okay, let me.
There is no-
No.
Hello, hello, sir. If he's getting that from them, it means that the get queue item is not doing anything.
Yeah, I don't think it's doing
No,
anything for what's something.
I think what we are doing is we are like populating the orchestrator first. Then the values for that, we are getting them into this get queue item. Is that what we are doing, sir?
Yes, that's the attempt to what we have already. What this has read. You know, is reading the Excel. Okay, and this is to get the key items, provision its priority and states. And so we now want to set status for each of the items. So the one of the speakers, I don't know if it is Babalala or Ajawa. I do mix their voices up sometimes. Okay, sorry, it's Sylvester. That's Sylvester or Babalala. I think so. It's
Serious.
okay. You should get it from bulk hard items, key items. Why is this still confusing me now? Okay. Let me take in this. This is get key items, and I'm coming. It could be. It's not even picking the batch, the result, because it's not. It's simply bringing it out as what you have here as. What have I done again? This is get key. Which one did I set here? Items, get key items. And status.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yes.
I think you have changed the scope of batch one, batch two. So the reason why they are giving error, you see, the scope is in body. The guy is supposed to be in the entire, yeah, exactly, in process two.
Which other one? Batch 1, batch. Okay. Everything's in the bigger scope now. It starts from here. Type argument. It should be these queue items now. Oh. And scroll down, see other options. Oh, a lot of. Okay, I think, yeah. Key item, system activity. I suppose. And type argument. Okay, what I will do is let me take this. Let me repaint a bit. Didn't I set? Okay, let me just do another thing. Yeah, let me simply use something neutral. Get Q3. So for each. For each in get QIT give. Okay, so let's set status. Set transaction status. And here transaction item. Do we have any issue here? Browse for time. This is call. queue item under orchestrator under service. UiPath call. Oh. And set transaction status. So what happened to you? All right, for each object, for each persona. Let me take the argument back to orchestrator.client. I think items. For each. It should be this. Okay then. But I wish I learned. I think there's something we are missing. Oh. I'm thinking it's maybe let me go through this variable type. We use the one I've not used before. It doesn't look like this. It should be on the items. I don't think it should be this. I don't think so. This should be, we are working on the orchestrator. It should be this. Okay, so I'm going to do something to this. Okay, so there is usually these key items here. And and both add queue items. So it should be what we pass out from here, not this is simply adding queue items. And this is getting
Okay.
I don't know if
Hello, sir. What I'm thinking is that from the body for the each, inside the body, I think you put get what's the name status. That get status is still there, sir. Is the get status? Is it not supposed to be item instead of queue item? It's not supposed to be item instead of queue item. The get queue it.
Okay, he said
That
it
was
is not
what I'm
supposed to be.
thinking because you have already for inside the set transaction. It was when you change the set transaction status to the same variable as get qit. That's when this error started. So I'm thinking that the set transaction status is supposed to be get instead of that inside the set transaction the properties for the properties for the set transaction status. Go to the set transaction status.
That's what I have.
Is there now?
That's
Okay. Instead of this get qit, it should be it.
It's supposed to be
Item. He's saying it's supposed to be item instead of get loot.
really transaction item. Let me hear you. It's breaking. Wow. Your voice is really breaking. Oh, it's still breaking. It's internet.
Sir, can we see error that is given, sir?
Okay. Account of okay. Is it UiPath call? You still want me to use numerable what?
So it's the variable type.
Hey, sir, it seems you changed the variable type for this get QI. You change it. Maybe if
Yes,
we return it to
yes, I've returned it to. I think I've returned it to what to the default. But we're supposed to. Since we are working on queue item. Oh, but this is. I think it was here. It was on system.connections.generate. I think it was on that. I can't remember.
yes, sir. Put that. Let's see.
Yes, I've put it. That's what it's.
Can we use objects, sir?
Can we say it's objects? I think that this is the problem. This is where the problem is. The text.
Sir, you know what we are going to do? Maybe we should delete that get queue items and put the activity back. Let's delete it and put it back there, so we're able to get the data, the variable type.
This. Okay, I should
yes,
just
let's
push this out.
and then we now add
Hello,
this
can you
back.
hear me, sir?
So let's add
Okay.
this back. Let's add
the get queue item.
this.
Abalola.
This is network. The network is terrible, sir.
It's yes, it wasn't friendly on your side. Sorry.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. What I'm saying, the same variable that is flagging on, that is giving you flagging on for each, on the set transaction status, you find out that it's not giving you any error. Well, I'm thinking that if you change the variable maybe to items instead of get QIT in that set transaction status, if you change it to items, I think this error will solve. You understand what I'm saying, sir?
So the get queue IT to be expunged.
The downstairs, down the down part. That is no on the set. What's the name? Transaction status.
So that one does not have any issue.
This instead of you are using a get queue item again, instead of this transaction item should be item, just since it's for each. Do you get what I'm saying, sir?
So
For each,
should be item.
For each item in
the value inside the status,
The input for the set transaction status should be item.
Yes, should be item. Yes, items. Transaction item.
Okay, this item.
The input for it for set transaction status should be item.
It should be item. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Sorry, the network is bad here.
Okay.
It's flagging it. That's serious.
Sorry, when glucose is restored to this head, to these bodies, it will open up. This is already midnight. In some cities in Nigeria, this 10:21 is like midnight. All right, so we will connect again. We'll connect again tomorrow. Look at it, of course, hopefully before tomorrow. Now, if I don't know if James is still here. I don't know. Let me check through. Yeah, I see who is still here. Matthew, you are here. Matthew. Oh, okay. Just a selected few is left. John, I was still here. All right then. So by this, we have everyone is telling us. Those that have left, they are telling us that we are on our own. All right. I would like us to call it a day. By force, we need to kill the process forcefully. All right. So
Hello, sir.
hello, John. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, the last recording that is on the LMS is 18th of July.
That was a week, like a week or so.
Yes, sir.
All right. You are very correct. You are very correct. Okay. Your boy will do the needful. It's like maybe I got tired. I don't know. All right, yeah, but you are very correct. Okay. All right, now thank you so much. Sylvester, thank you for staying tuned till now. Joe, Sheon, Babalola in absentia, John. Right, Sheon, I didn't hear you again. And then Joe, your system did not come up again.
No, it's still up, sir. But the thing is, I wasn't unable to connect to my Teams.
I'm sorry, your teams could not come up.
Yes, sir. On my app.
All right then. So let's say goodbye to ourselves.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Thank you.